Approve the consent agenda.
Motion's been made and seconded, the consent agenda. And we'll second that. Are there any additions?
No, sir.
Those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Appointments.
You wanted this public input.
Oh, God.
Do we have anyone on Zoom, Josh?
Bruce, and I don't know what his last name, it's W-A-1-Y-Z-N.
Oh, it's Bruce. Bohannon.
Okay, so he's not, it doesn't seem to be indicating he wants to say anything, so we'll keep moving then. The first appointment is no longer needed. We received a payment today, so back on track.
Okay. So the second appointment is with the Rail Trail Advisory Committee, which is Mike Kowalczyk.
Hi, Mike. Yeah, please.
Yeah, let's see. Okay, great. Okay, so at the last Rail Trail Advisory Committee meeting, the committee discussed sending a letter to you that would ultimately get to the city of Keene if you approved it on the town of Swanzey's recommendation regarding the Keene streetscape project and what the street would look like after they do their infrastructure projects. So the letter I sent you guys describes each section and what option was agreed to by the Rail Trail Advisory Committee. I don't know how familiar you are with the project. It's broken into 3 sections. There's the Central Square section, which is where, Central Square is today, and the option we picked. And, well, in general, the options picked are ones that promote pedestrian, bicycle, active living type design, so that you can get more of that downtown than you have today, right? So that's kind of in general with the 3 options that were picked. The Central Square option is one where the park actually grows. There's no road up on the northern side between the park and the stage. That's all pedestrian. It allows people to get to Central Square without having to cross the street if you're coming down Corridor Washington, and you only have to cross 1 lane of traffic at Corridor Washington to get on there. It also provides parking actually at Central Square. It's maybe, I don't know, 6, 7 spaces or 10 spaces or something, but it is something. So this allows more activities, bigger events, things like that within the park. And then just south of that is what they're calling the mini roundabout, which is a way to manage traffic in that area, up and down Main Street, Roxbury, West Street, Court, and Washington. For Main Street, it was called the single lane multimodal. Again, creating more pedestrian space, creating a bike lane, a dedicated bike lane that's protected. So promoting more of that. Of course, this Main Street intersects with the Cheshire Rail Trail, so it allows people a way to get on and off the rail trail in a safe bike lane. So it does provide that. And then the Gilbo Ave, Gilbo Ave Railroad Square area is a one-way street on Gilbo, and the design there is to promote more community activities down Gilbo. There's talk about it like an art park, art corridor, I think they're calling it, and also a raised, Main Street would be like a raised island to get from Gilbo to Railroad Square, and that is to create kind of like a continuous path, the feel of a continuous path for pedestrians and also slow traffic down the Main Street. So that in general are the options. There's a lot of information online. I guess I'll just open it up for questions. If you need more, I can send you links to all this kind of stuff.
I think I got a draft of your letter back there too. Okay. So I guess I'll open it up there and see what you guys have any questions, what your thoughts are. Yeah, and especially where this has obviously become a hot topic in the big city. I just before, versus just having the Rail Trail Advisory Committee send it out. I thought it might be something you want to be at least aware of and or, be supportive of, so that's kind of why. Normally, might have just sent a letter.
No, I agree, Mike. It's become a very controversial, seems like a hot topic. It's on Danny Mitchell every morning. And people have opinions, what they think or like.
Should or should not happen.
Yeah, so, but it came from the town of Swanzey, you'd have a lot more clout. If you elect not to do it, I'll probably send a letter from me, just a resident of Swanzey, which has a lot less clout, but. So,
Well, you said the Rail Trail Committee supports this letter, right? So come from the Rail Trail Committee.
No, I mean, if you, the select board, decide not to forward it to the city, then.
What I'm saying is you could send it on behalf of the Rail Trail Committee of the town of
that's okay
Swansea
with you.
instead of from the town of Swansea.
If that's okay with you guys. Sure.
That work for you, Ken?
I haven't given it enough thought.
Okay.
I don't listen to Danny Mitchell.
You want to think on it? We'll get back to Mike next week, or?
Do you want me to send you anything? I mean, it's all out there. If you just Google,
Yeah.
you'll find the information, all the different design options. There's even a 6-minute video they came out with, I think about a week ago, that kind of summarizes things pretty nicely, pretty quickly.
You want me to send you that video, Ken, or? Sure. Okay. All right,
All right?
we'll get back to you, the meeting on Tuesday
No other
before.
questions? Slide, no questions?
Nope.
So what's the decision? I'm sorry. I
They're
didn't-
gonna think on it and get back to him next week.
A review next week?
Yeah, get back to him next week. You're gonna be at deliberative session, of course, right?
Oh, absolutely. Front row seat.
Good man.
I got my ticket.
So-
There you go.
All right, thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Mike?
You wanna jump to Joe?
Yes.
Joseph? Join us at the hot seat.
Good evening.
So Whitcomb Hall here, we ran into an issue with the wet system a week and a half ago, where pumps were running, and there was also a fault with the alarm system. So they came out and fixed it, but while they were here, they identified a butterfly valve that needs to be replaced. The cost of that is approximately $13.10, I believe, but then we need to get an electrician to do some wiring. I just caught that today that the wiring wasn't included, so I don't have a quote on the wiring, but I would estimate that it wouldn't exceed $300, so it all should be done for, say, less than $1,700, but it needs to be done. The other thing that's been identified, separate from this, and Michael and I have been communicating quite a bit, is the alarm panels here and the fire suppression components that hook to the alarm. So the company that made the alarm panels, they're no longer in business. They're very, depending on what the component is, they're very little, if none, available. So we had a smoke head go down upstairs 2 weeks ago, and Amer took a few days to find it, but they found the last smoke head in existence. So what I told them to do is start preparing a quote for me on what it would cost, what their recommendation would be for new panels, and what components we have that could work with the new panels,
Yep.
and what components need to be switched out. They haven't gotten back to me yet, but I just wanted to bring it to the board's attention that sooner or later, unfortunately, I think that is going to have to be, the panels are going to have to be changed out, and whatever components are not compatible with the new panels will have to be changed. It's been a nonstop problem for the last 2 months. Some of it was a phone line issue, some of it was just simply a phone panel, and the other issue is the programmer, the individual that really knows about this system, he's no longer in business, so it's just like the perfect storm. However, Amer is able to communicate with them when they have issues, and they've been able to work through it, but I just wanted to give the board a heads up, unrelated to this, that sooner or later that is going to have to happen. Whether we want to or not, it depends on if we're proactive about it or we wait and ride it out as long as we can, but I'd estimate maybe at least 3 times Amherst had to come out because of the issues.
Thanks for the good news. All these heads are just 2 wires, though.
What's that?
All these heads are just 2 wires.
Yeah.
So it's just the amount of resistance or whatever.
Yeah.
So,
And I don't know enough about it, but essentially they were gonna make a list of what could stay and what needed to go, and
probably not just us either.
no. And I don't have the answers as far as why that was the system that was went with.
Okay,
To your point about the electrical, Mike had estimated 500, so you're kind of in the same ballpark with you, so he had said like
Can we just
18.
do not to exceed 2,000 on the
That'd be safe.
request? Where would it come from?
From the Whitcomb Hall revolving fund,
Okay, there's enough in there.
yeah.
Good.
Coming from where?
Whitcomb Hall revolving fund.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second that. Any further discussion? Hearing none, those in favor?
Right?
Aye.
That's up to 3,000?
2,000.
Up to 2,000. Up to.
Not to exceed.
Under.
Within.
Got any other good news?
I don't, unless you want an update from DPW, things, regardless of the last storm, we got things back to normal. It's obviously a pretty challenging storm. We had a couple pieces of equipment go down, and then obviously dealing with all the trees down. Really challenging, but back to normal, and everything, all the equipment's repaired and back up, so just trying to get caught up with now with all the brush down, numerous trees. At one point during the storm, we had 3 trucks essentially trapped in East Swanzey and couldn't get back to West Swanzey without going into Keene and going all the way around. Just an example, tree down on Eaton Road, tree down on Swanzey Lake Road, and tree down on Warmack Road at the same time. So there were some challenges, but thankfully we got through it with no major issues.
How is the state on dealing with trees that are right on the road? I mean, next to them. There's a couple up in North Swansea I was looking at, right on 32. You could probably hit them with your plow. That's how close they are. Big pine trees, and when they go down, it's going to be a big problem.
They did a little bit of tree work on Swanzey Lake Road. If you want to, I can meet up with you and take a look at them, and I can forward them over. Sometimes they've been great. Other times, like that the one tree that you brought to their attention on Eaton Road, that was given to them by me and by residents, and it didn't seem to move until the end. But we can bring it to their attention, document it, bring it to their attention.
There's a person on the corner of Airport Road and Route 32. She asked about the tree being removed. And if you look at that tree, the next one down, you'll see they're both right on the road. So
I'll bring it to their attention and see if I can get a word back.
thanks.
Anything further?
Thanks.
Stay warm.
Right.
Keep the heat up.
Yeah.
So what else can you eliminate?
You want to jump down to new business?
Yeah,
So I provided a little chart for kind of a hyper-focused committee, but I think there's some merit to it related to the California Street, North Winchester Street reconstruction project. We're looking at reviewing some options for, I think you're waiting.
I did. I'm just curious as to why it has to be California and North Winchester versus North Winchester and California.
I guess it doesn't.
Because you corrected it from the former, and I didn't understand.
Alphabetical.
Alphabetical?
I don't know if it's just because we just did South Winchester, so if it starts with California in my mind, it's
I see.
easier to keep
Okay,
track of, I guess.
It's not like a mandatory thing, it was just Michael's doing his thing. Okay, got it.
I
Thank
think
you.
that's what Underwood's calling it.
Okay.
So, and in the end, we may only end up doing one or the other anyway, so.
Oh, I'll
might
follow
end up
your lead,
changing.
it's fine. I just was curious.
But the main reason I think a committee has merit is if we're looking at rearranging the traffic, and I think we want that local buy-in. So I've got some folks in mind, including the DPW director, to serve on that committee. But basically, hyper-focus, like I said, the term is for the year. Probably most of the work will be in the first month or two, and then maybe if we have stuff later on that we want them to weigh in on, they can, but looking for a five-member committee for that. 2 residents or property owners on those streets, and then 2 just from town in general.
Any other questions regarding this?
Nope. I'll make the motion as drafted.
I'll second that. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
November expenditure report went out on Monday. No major items to note. The spending in that month was a little higher than last week. So I think we had a lot of Haven bills that went out that month. So, but overall, still in good shape.
Any reason why we need to wait for 6 o'clock?
Oh, sure, we got a couple other things. So, one other thing that Bill and I had spoke about, obviously he's not here, but was going to every other week meetings for February. The agendas have been fairly light, so I told him that I would bring that up for consideration.
Questions?
What are you thinking? Obviously the 7th.
Yep, we gotta meet the 7th, so I would say 7th, 22nd, and then either 1st or 8th, depending on your pleasure. I know that's in March, but
And this is, this is a change in the November, in the February schedule, or an
Correct.
addition to it?
change.
Okay.
7th and 22nd.
And what days of the week are those?
Wednesdays.
I
Well,
think-
Well,
the
7th is a Tuesday.
Yeah, I can't be here on the 8th, that's why I was,
Right,
we already talked about
yeah,
that.
so the 7th is a Tuesday, and then the 22nd is a Wednesday.
I'm confused at what you're changing then, isn't that
Basically,
exactly?
they're gonna skip the one in the middle, the 15th.
Oh, skip the one on the 15th, okay, got it.
7th is the deliberative.
Right, so we have a meeting, brief meeting before that.
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
And then we're gonna defer it to next week, but I think Chair of the EMS Advisory Committee, Steve Biddle, was going to ask you about increasing the membership to have everyone be a full member versus the couple of alternates that we had talked about, but saving that for next week. Y'all ready for deliberative?
Get my text.
Yeah. Yeah. Trouble with writing down too few words on my calendar. I didn't remember which hearing, which thing was going on tonight.
Evening.
Ken, how you doing?
Good, how are you, bud?
How long may live, to the chagrin of many. Mike, how you doing?
Great, how are you?
So far, so good.
Gonna see you next week at deliberative, how about
Oh,
Bruce?
hell yeah.
Yeah, good.
I'm not technically obliged to be there, but as assistant moderator, I figure I should be.
You're a good wingman, no one would say different. I think everyone present is pretty familiar, but I did print a couple handouts, so we as well. You know it, because you sent it to us. but-
Yes.
We can probably start with the introductory remarks, I think.
All right. Well, we've got 2 public hearings tonight.
Yes, sir.
One has to do with the West Swanzey Water and Fire Precinct boundaries.
Correct.
Is there anyone present the table or shared or online that doesn't have a clue as to what's going on? Does it mean that I have to read the whole thing?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. There's a list of boundary lines. And Sly, can I put you on the spot
Sure.
as to exactly what this means?
Yep, basically, it's just extending the precinct from where it currently ends at the old Causeway Road, which is Eric Stanley's driveway now, further south on Route 32 to the area of 321 Old Homestead Highway where the proposed fire station was going to go. So that's the water line right now ends at Powers Generator. So obviously it'd be an extension of that if that's how it goes. But as far as the boundaries go, it's just catching all those properties with frontage on Route 32 down to 321 Old Homestead.
Further input from the gallery?
Who are you, sir, for the record?
Name's Jim Collins. I'm a lawyer for a long time. Over the expressing support.
Okay.
Jim Callahan.
Jim? With a G?
No G, they got dropped on the list.
Okay, so how do I spell your last name?
Callaha.
And
Jeremiah.
Jeremy?
Yeah, Jeremiah.
Jeremiah, okay, thank you.
And this is something you're interested in, Mr. Kettle, for your housing development?
That's correct.
One lot north, correct?
Yes. Lot was dash two.
Further discussion?
I did have the opportunity to speak with Bonnie Tolman, who lives within this, one of these properties, and she is not in favor of being added to the precinct. So I told her I would relay that for her.
If somebody wishes not to be included, do they have the option of begging out?
Not really, they don't have to hook up, but
Okay,
as far
that's
as
what I'm at.
within the precinct, if the boundaries are extended.
I don't think
They're in
you
there.
you probably wouldn't want an island in the middle, right? That wasn't.
Right.
Where would the funding come from for the project?
So this is just to increase the boundaries.
Right, this is the first step,
No,
but,
we're not there yet.
right.
But it is a good question.
Okay.
Buy your lottery tickets. Powerball's up.
I did reach out to the state with they have the Invest NH funds, which are primarily focused towards workforce housing, but I did reach out and just let them know about the project and see if they knew of any possible funding. I had not heard back yet, but I did make that outreach because I know it's obviously partly related to your project, so.
Did you find it with user fees paying for the bond?
I'm sorry?
Did you find it with user fees to pay for the bond?
Not really, I think that would be more like a TIF district.
Yeah.
And I don't think we've done anything like that
For the precinct.
for this, yeah.
The reason I mentioned this is other than Hancock, and I'm on the broadband committee, we sort of have that last mile problem. So, 70% of the town, 65% is covered. So nobody wants to obligate everybody in town, but we sort of made an arrangement where if we go that route, now maybe we'll grab some of that federal money. They would just recoup it through the users. It's not a tip, but it's just, it's kind of an analogous situation.
I think Chesterfield
Something to look
did
at.
something similar with your broadband, right? And they
The
expanded.
$10 from every bill goes toward the bond or
Yeah.
something.
Oh, you mean how, that was for broadband service?
Right.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
the analogy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And they actually call it the Chesterfield model,
yes.
because that was adopted.
Okay. Further discussion? I'll close off the public hearing. Want to entertain a motion?
if I can find it.
Yeah, so this process.
There is no
This process was a new one for me. I know Sly's been involved with it before, but basically the precinct petitions the select board hold this hearing, and then if you vote to move forward, it basically goes back to the precinct and the voters in this proposed new area to vote on moving forward. So you're basically just saying whether to move forward with the project or to not, basically.
I'll make the motion to move forward with adding the following properties,
Excuse me?
of which you have, right?
I do have it.
All right. I'll second that. Further discussion, hearing none, those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
For the record, you both are precinct voters, right?
Yeah.
So you're gonna have to go to that meeting, Ken.
Another meeting.
Oh, God.
Bring Liz too.
Oh, geez.
Say, next question, Mr. Chair, does this go to on the warrant, or does this go to the precinct?
No, well, the precinct voted last year to extend
Do
it.
it, right?
Yeah.
the
So we
next
did it at our annual meeting, now we bring it to you. And then obviously we have to have Keene approve it, so.
What's the timing on that? I don't-
My understanding is you now have to have a meeting of so the select board would call a meeting of the precinct and the new proposed voters, and we could do it like right before your normal meeting, and then they would vote on
Okay,
that. So
I thought that's what this was.
it's like the middle step. It's like, I know, yeah.
Work your magic.
More meetings, right?
Right.
So it would be in March.
Yeah, okay, thanks. Thank you very much.
We can let you know when that date is finalized. Anything to add there, Mr. Chairman?
Nope, just gotta remember to write it down on the calendar. Just gotta remember what I'm writing down on the calendar.
That is an important part.
Thanks, everybody.
Good.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll close the, public hearing.
Great, then we're gonna open the next one, the acceptance of,
Unanticipated funds. Anybody want that read? Hearing none. We've got, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 items.
We're out there getting those grants for you.
Yeah, there you go.
So would you like me to just briefly go over very briefly each one?
Yeah.
So 85,000 from the Monadnock Alliance for sustainable transportation for the next phase of the Swanzey Center Sidewalk Improvement Project on Sawyer's Crossing Road. 38,160 from State Emergency Management Fund for the generator at Fire Station 2. 30,000 from the State Department of Environmental Services to create a stormwater asset management plan. 34,320.08 from FEMA for 2021 declared disaster expenses that Mr. DiRusso worked very hard on. And 19,359.26 from the state for a one-time contribution towards the New Hampshire retirement system participation.
Okay, questions? Hearing none, we'll close out the hearing.
I'll make the motion to approve or accept and expenditure of unanticipated funds.
Second, those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Close the hearing.
Thank you.
What else we got?
Does that mean I should shut down?
Not yet.
I thought you said public hearings. Sorry.
Close the public hearing, not the meeting. You got a little quick on the trigger at one of the planning board meetings, I think, too, when they closed the public hearing. So I do think that, I didn't have any other business, Mr. Chairman.
We're all set on the town meeting and election preparations.
We're all prepared. Ready to go. Got my suit from the dry cleaner and everything.
Did anybody sign up this week?
Yes, we've had some signups. I don't have the full list in front of me, but Bill has some competition for Mr. York.
So we're gonna have to, Ken and I will have to do the selectmen's table probably.
That's true. You have to,
Bill will be outside with his sign.
Remember, what I did not go outside, and I see the selectmen's table.
Did you have competition?
Yeah.
Oh, you should have been fired. Maybe we'll open up a censure hearing.
I had 3 other people.
beat them all.
Can we do the EMS advisory committee now, or is that next week that Steve's gonna ask?
I think Steve wants to speak to it next week. They're not meeting between now and then anyway, so,
That's tabled to next week?
yes. I'm sure he'll be at deliberative anyway, so.
How did your Sawyer's Crossing sidewalk plow this time with you ran the pickup truck down it?
Yeah, I've been running it down it all year. It's done well.
But even with that amount of snow, it was okay?
Yeah, it's a bit challenging at times because there was so much snow coming from the state plowing
Right.
up and nowhere for it to go, but just plowed it frequently and it was pretty good. And I was concerned because, as you know, the ground's not frozen, and I was worried about the new grass, but it didn't really dig in anywhere. I've got the boundaries down pretty good.
Now it's kind of like a bowling alley with bumpers.
Yeah. That's what kind of it is with the plow too, for the pickup trying to push it back.
Yeah, you're not gonna wanna hit those edges now.
No, but if it gets higher, the sidewalk snow blower can get in there and cuts through it pretty well. It was a little challenging at times, but it's fine. Hopefully no more storms like that,
Spring's coming.
as I keep telling myself.
And your sidewalk plow was down anyway, right?
For a short time, yeah, one of the pulleys, one of the belts, the fan belt went down, and they were able to repair. We had almost everything done, but the final cleanup of it, and I think they had to post something else, so it's going to be kind of moving on.
I guess Keene had the same issue.
Yeah. We're up in, so I'm actually working on it right now, quotes for new sidewalk plow. We're up in CIP for one quarter, one this year.
Okay, anything else? I'll take the motion.
Motion adjourned.
Second, all in favor?
Aye. Go Bruins.
There you go, Josh.
What is that an 8-inch main on?
Recording stopped.
It'll be fed by 6-inch, but the state requires 8-inch minimum.
Okay.
And the 6-inch I just got